Because of the great demand for vehicles like the Toyota Alphard and the Lexus LM, it was bound to happen sooner or later that there was going to be a third alternative. And that one is this, the GAC M8 Master. Now, GAC as a brand is already well established here in our country. Our last car of the year was actually the GS3 M Zoom, a vehicle that we found very fun, very exciting, and very good value for money. But GAC is now venturing into a market segment where there are a lot of expectations. Like I said earlier, there is a great demand for vehicles like the Toyota Alphard. That's why it spawned the Lexus alternative, which is the LM. You even have the High-A Super Grandia, the elite versions. If you check out the lines and you place a reservation today, chances are you'll get your car sometime in early 2026. Of course, I am just kidding. But that really opens up the market for other automakers like GAC and all that. And believe you me, there are more coming to enter into the segment and try to offer something more. They've got a minivan style, but elevated when it comes to the luxury and the looks. You can see it with these really striking LEDs. By the way, when these light up at night, we'll show you the B-roll right now. It's really incredible when you check out how these lights light up. Even the way this light, it just gives it a nice appeal. It's got this really massive kind of dark chrome grille. Kind of reminds me of Thanos, the way they have the lines laid out, but it looks really cool, and thankfully it's not in purple. Now, this being the Master, it's kind of a cut above in terms of the details. You can see it with the wheels, the way they do the center caps, by the way. The center caps on this, it stays upright. So for us doing filming all the time, we love this car. We don't have to keep repositioning it to make sure that the center cap you're seeing has the logo perfectly upright. It's got a chin down there, and I do have to apologize. I nicked that chin down there, yeah, during one of the drives, so my fault. But still a very striking vehicle to look at overall. Now, from that angle, you can see what I mean about the size of the vehicle. It's 5.2 meters long, which is why features like a 360 camera comes in handy. And the 360 camera on this one, you can see the cameras all around, including under the side mirrors. Gives you a nice 360 view of the road ahead. I've already mentioned the wheels. The tires, so these are Michelin's, not some brand that we haven't heard of, which is always a good thing. The side mirrors, very nice. The doors here open nice and wide, making ingress and egress very easy for the front. But the best part, of course, is going to be right here with the sliding doors. By the way, you can remotely open and close these, no problem, or just pull on the handle here. No problem, makes it easy getting in and out. And the way they have the ride height, it is very, very senior friendly overall. And to close that, you can actually use your key. So let's say I want to close the right door. No, there, no, press and hold. Oh man, oh there you go, it actually works. This takes a little bit of time. If you're following this, yeah, the back really does look good on the GAC M8. Has some chrome trim here, the red, it just looks very, very striking. Now, when you open the tailgate, you'll be greeted by quite a bit of space. Now, it is a 3-row minivan. So the measurements here, about 18 inches deep, about 46 inches wide, and about 41 inches high all in all. So it's pretty tall, but you can fold down the rear seat 60-40, the third row. And when you do that, you get a space that, well, it's pretty much the same here, but you can place long items up to the back seat to the middle row, which is around 53 inches. It can go more if you have something longer, if you want to have it there, but you don't want to be scratching up the leather here. What you can also do is you can pop this up. Let me see if I can pop this up. There you go. It's actually a fold and tumble. And in this configuration, as you can see, it's not perfectly flat, but it gives you up to around 39 inches here, but you kind of have to be careful about hitting stuff here, but it should be all pretty durable anyway. So it gives you that kind of ability to reconfigure your vehicle if you want to carry stuff in your M8 while you drive along. Honestly, probably won't use it for that much cargo, maybe for shopping, but all in all, still nice and versatile. Powering the GAC M8 is a 2-liter turbo intercooler gasoline direct injection engine that they call Mega Wave Power. It's bolted on to an 8-speed automatic, not driving the rear wheels or all wheels, it's driving the front wheels only. It has 3 modes: Sport, Eco, and Comfort. Now, the cool thing about this is that it's an intercooler engine, but if you look around the piping, you can't really see that much piping there when it comes to intercooler going into the front. The intercooler is right on top because it's a water intercooler, because that's what Mega Wave power is. Now, in terms of overall power, it makes 252 PS and 400 Newton meters of torque, which is actually very respectable for an engine size just like this. The problem, however, is it's going to have to deal with a lot of weight in the vehicle because this weighs 2.2 metric tons or 2,200 kilos. It should be able to deal with passengers just fine, but when it comes to other matters and other options that customers of an M8 will be definitely looking at, it may be quite limited. But we'll tell you all about that towards the end of the video. So normally the third row in a vehicle such as this, these are usually the cheap seats. But sitting back here doesn't actually feel like cheap seats because you got your own cup holders, 4 of them actually, USB port, coolers up top, light, the handle up here, even the ambient lights you can see out through the sunroof there. You've got big glass on the sides, and then the cushioning itself is nice and comfortable. These seats are adjustable. It can slide forward and back via the handle down there, same with the other side. So it's pretty comfortable, even has a center armrest, so it's effectively like a captain seat already, which is actually really nice. The only drawback is getting in and out. If you're a bigger guy, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult because of the way the door is relative to the front seats. You have to push those, or at least move those all the way forward, and it doesn't move forward all that much. You can also pass it by the center aisle, which also isn't that wide, and I don't think there's an option to make it a bit wider to give you a bit more space. So it's just a forward and back thing. You have to kind of reconfigure it to get in and out of here. But once you're here, it's actually nice and comfortable. I mean, you don't even have to pull out your personal fan to be able to make it a comfortable drive for you. Good as the third row may be, this is really what you pay for in a vehicle like this, the middle row. And everyone says these are captain seats. They're not. These are actually relaxation seats. More on that in a bit. First, let's take a look at what's around us. Top to bottom, you've got a nice glass roof up here. You got the power sunshades up here that you can control. Buttons for either door, so to open and close the left side, right? We can do that. Let's close that now because we don't want the bugs to get in and out. And also the sound, because the glass here, if you look past the sunshade, this is laminated glass, meaning it's acoustic glass. Makes it a bit more, actually significantly quieter inside overall. That is what you want in this kind of vehicle. You don't want to be bothered by the outside world. More of the lighting here, it's a pulsating kind. You got lighting up here, just like in the back. You even have your own airline style lighting up here. You press that, it's pretty cool. Your own AC vents here. One thing I did notice that this one doesn't seem to be powerful. I think this is connected to the front AC, not the rear AC. Anyways, light up here, grab handle there. Best part, tray table. See, the tray table, it's very, very airline. If anything, it's even a little bit better because it's quite spacious. There's no cup holder or anything, but don't worry. You got cup holders all around. You got 2 here, and this one on the right, because this is the boss seat, by the way, it's actually heated or cooled depending on the button which one you have activated. So if it's red, heated, blue, it's cooled. There's a tray here for USB and USB-C, and a compartment under here which I can barely reach, which is big enough for a lot of things that I can find a really good use for. But still, the tray table I really like. Makes me wish we had a flight attendant here to help attend to hot meals and all that stuff in the vehicle, which you can easily enjoy here. And this is what I appreciate about what GAC did. They were very thoughtful. So you have a USB port here, but there's also a little pocket here, almost like a holster for my phone. So I can run a cable here, have it charged there, which is actually really good. Now, the best part, of course, what you pay for are the 2 relaxation seats. And let me tell you now, the functionality here is great. They've got a great control panel here. So your slide forward and back. Let me slide back a little bit now. Right there, you don't have to reach there and scratch your watch on the door or anything like that. Not that you would, because it's got nice material over here. If anything, you'd scratch the door itself. And then you have the recline for your seat backs, which is also nice right here. For your cushioning here for the legs, you can raise that up. Now the best part is that when you raise it up, the cushion up to a certain part, let me slide back a bit, the maximum extent, I think it is, yeah. So when you extend the ottoman, it doesn't just pop up, it actually pops up and then extends out, which is nice. So like right now, this is a nice function. And then it has a spa button here. Let me show you in this one. So you press that, it goes into spa mode, right? It goes to the maximum extent it can go. And then the best part, oh yeah, seat massage. This one comes with a seat massage here in the back. How nice is that? You can see it when you actually sit in this seat, and you can feel it definitely. So yeah, this is the good stuff right here. I mean, a real person massaging you is still going to be so much better. But if you're on the road, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be really fantastic. So this is my second time in the driver's seat of the GAC M8. And yes, it is a very nice place to be. To be honest though, I do miss the back seat. But still, if you're the one who has to drive, this one is quite premium all around. Now, looking around, round steering wheel, you got controls here, you got screen here, which is kind of nice, has your tachometer and your speedometer in the middle, with your clock on the right side, which has the rather unique way of doing the display for the time right there. Is actually quite different. Now you have your tire pressure monitoring there, along with the tire temperature, which is a good thing. So it's a very nice display overall. And when you mess around with the drive modes, it actually changes all around. So you have sport mode, comfort mode, and your eco mode, and that's about it, covering most of your bases with the vehicle. Now when you do play around with the drive modes, the display here changes as well, again like I showed you there. So it gives you a bit more when it comes to the steering. So the steering gets a bit more. Let me show that now. So in sport mode, the steering is a bit I guess firmer, and then you have AVDC, or the vehicle dynamic control, which is a bit more aggressive. So all these things you kind of tune when you drive the vehicle. But most of the time, we're gonna keep it in comfort, because it should make, oh yeah, the steering is very light, easily one finger you can move it, no problem. Not that you would do that in traffic. You should always keep both hands on the wheel, maximum safety. Now, looking around this screen, all of the functions, or pretty much, yeah, all of the functions are concentrated here. Now, that one, I would prefer they have separate controls for things like the climate control, because it's also in this rather massive screen, which is, I think, bigger than my laptop. But you have the AC controls here. You can press that there. So there's no physical button for that, which I would have preferred, because it takes you out of the screen. You have all kinds of things that you can control here for the rear, for the kind of scenery you want in your vehicle. I mean, you can kind of tune it, or at least you can have these presets depending on where you are. So depending on what your preference is, you can also control some of the functions of the vehicle, like the windows, like front left. You can open it there. Not that you would really do that though. I mean, it's kind of really a weird feature, but I mean, GAC is sticking with it. So yeah, I guess that's what they want to do. Some of the things here make sense though, like the tailgate. That one is actually nice to have there, as well as the left sliding door. But you also have those buttons here. So it's kind of redundancies. They're factoring in all these redundancies here. I guess it doesn't cost them any extra to do that with the screen. So, I guess that's a good thing, but I would have preferred redundant controls for the AC. You have Apple CarPlay, but you don't get Android Auto. You only get the Carbit link, and when we use Carbit link, it's not really our preferred way to go. Your wireless charger is down here, which is where I have my glasses. And when you have that, you can have your phone there, and it will charge. But like I said, I can't use the Apple CarPlay anyway, so I might as well make use of the charger right there. Here, 2 cup holders. This is where I usually keep the key, and you can see that there are controls on the key for things like to open either door, lock, unlock, and then to open the tailgate. And it's a nice one. We've seen this in other GAC models, and it's a very nice key. There are some things though that I would want changed. For example, all the piano black is gonna be a scratch magnet and a fingerprint magnet, because here, look at this. Right there, I have fingerprints right there. Same with the screen. So that's a drawback of having a big screen. And also the piano black, there's some scratches all on it already, so somebody's put something there and then kind of scuffed it up. Minor detail, but it gets annoying once you get a few more of those. Your transmission control is perhaps the most odd in this one. If anything, it feels more like a high-end fidget spinner because it has this crystal thing right there that you can play around with. It doesn't do anything, but it's just there. You can, if you're bored, and I guess if you're the driver and you're really bored in traffic, you can play around with that fidget spinner. But there you go. Park, reverse, there, drive, there. I mean, pretty straightforward stuff. Start stop button here. This is for the intelligent park control. I'm not gonna press that. There's the auto brake hold. Then you have the center armrest here with a deep compartment. There's no cooling in there that I can notice, so there. This seat can also be moved forward and back by using the buttons here. That is to allow for more legroom for the boss seat, which is the rear right of this vehicle. One great thing about what they did here is the attention to the visibility. Now I showed you the 360 camera, but you also have the rear view monitor here. It's not a rear view mirror, it's a rear view monitor. And it allows you to see clearly behind you without having to look around, the heads of everybody if this was a physical mirror. So that's actually a good thing. Also, there's great visibility up top if that's what you want. You can open the sunroof here. Let me open that now. So it tucks into this compartment here, or at least into this recess here, so you can have fresh air if you so wish. The one in the back does not open. It's a fixed unit. Also, the A-pillars. This is what I like, because being a big vehicle, you want the visibility, right? So if this was a solid A-pillar, it's going to be difficult to see out. But in this one, even though it's such a big car, you can see out clearly through there. So it's going to be easy to maneuver, even though this car is 5.2 meters long. Anyways, is there anything I missed? Oh, it has the adaptive cruise control and those kinds of features, but we don't really use the adaptive cruise control. We just, at least in the city anyway. So still, it's going to be more of regular driving. And besides, you're going to have Manong driver do it. So today, I'll be Manong driver and drive it around and see how this behaves on the road. Okay, so we're back aboard the GAC M8, and this is the exact same unit that I drove a couple of months ago when I did the walk around. But back then I was only getting a real sample of it, but I did enjoy it on the roads, like the winding roads and the coastal roads near Batangas and all that. Very nice drive, this vehicle. We got to try the sport mode there. It's sport mode. It holds on to the gear ratios a little bit longer. But it does give you a bit more access to the power that's available from that turbo engine. Yes, I know sport mode in a van kind of almost pointless, but it does work. I just wish it had paddle shifters or a manual shift, because this one does not have any kind of manual select or override for the gear shift. So that's something to keep in mind. But if you're going to treat this as just like a daily driver, it's actually going to be nice, because the transmission, it works well. It's not a CVT, so it works well like in our kinds of conditions. The only real downside here is going to be the fuel economy. But if you're jumping into the M8 anyway, you're going to be expecting the fuel economy is not going to be great. But as it stands in heavy traffic, we're getting around 5 to 5.5 kilometers per liter, which isn't bad, all things considered, because when we look at the older Alphards, the one with the V6 engine, those were doing around 4 or 3 plus, like 3.5. So when you're in that kind of traffic, yeah, it's kind of like a heavy consumer. But when it comes to, let's say, around average, typical 18 to 20 kilometers per hour, which is what we normally see in the city nowadays, it's actually quite all right when it comes to fuel economy, doing around 6.5. So pretty good. The best you can get on the highway is around 10.5. That was an average speed of around 80. So it really depends on the kind of driving, the kind of traffic that you're experiencing, the fuel economy of something like this. But mind you, that was only 2 of us in the car, not 3 or 4 or 6 or 7. So keep that in mind. But overall, the M8 has been impressive as a drive. Granted, you don't buy it for this kind of, like, to be seated here. You buy this to be seated in the back. But if you were having to, do the driving most of the time, it's actually nice. Yes, I do find the screens to be a bit of an overload. I wish kind of had a nice simpler gauge here. Yes, the multi-info is nice, but maybe a simpler gauge there, and then retain this screen here. Now, there are some drawbacks to the screen. Some of the things I probably didn't point out was the English, or at least the translation to English is not perfect. So when you go through some of the modes, the grammar or the spelling is a little bit weird. It's like they used WeChat to do the translating or something. It's not 100%, so it seems a bit odd, but it's a minor detail. That doesn't really affect the functionality of it all. The audio system is usually something we can't show you or at least we can't demonstrate, because music tends to be flagged by the platform wherever we post it. But the audio system of this, even though it's not branded as anything Infinity or otherwise, it's actually quite good. The bass is good, the clarity is good, and I really only wish it had Android Auto for me to make full use of like the music that I have on my phone and Spotify and all that. But what really impressed me so far is the build quality. Now, granted, when we jump into a Chinese car, and yes, it is Chinese. When we jump into a Chinese car, we tend to lower expectations. Like, we think, it's not going to be good like this and all that. But then you look at it, you actually touch the thing, the surfaces here. You play with the controls. You check out the details, like even the rose gold here. Everything seems to be done well. The biggest factor that the M8 really has is the thoughtfulness that they put into it. Because a lot of the things we like, they put in, even things we probably couldn't even think of or wouldn't even think of, they also put in. So that's what this has going for it. It's a very thoughtful vehicle. It was clear that when they were conceiving this car, especially the interior, whoever was doing the CMF, the interior design, they knew exactly what they were doing. And I think they were told, hey, guys, go all out, like leave no stone unturned when it comes to the design, the build quality and all that. And we can feel it. And that's what you want. You want to feel like, someone is taking care of you, because that's what you pay for in this kind of car. You pay for that thought, for that extra thought, that attention to detail. And we can see that here with the way they do the leather. I mean, leather, of course, when you look at the stitching here, it's not going to be like perfectly straight, but that's normal out of, let's say, when you do hand stitch leather. And that one does look like it's hand stitch leather, which is kind of good. You want that kind of, I guess, personal touch with your vehicle. So this one definitely has that. But really, it's a nice drive for a van. Generally, if you're driving here, you think you drew the short straw, but still, it's all good. If anything, what I like about the seat is it feels like my dad's old leather office chair, and I miss that chair. I kind of wish we never got rid of it, but it feels like that. Like you sit, it feels natural, feels relaxed, and it brings back memories of me doing schoolwork at that desk a long time ago. Now, you may think that this is what you buy an M8 for, but you'd be wrong, because this is what you buy an M8 for, the spa mode. So like I showed you earlier, you can recline all the way. It'll recline automatically in that mode, all the way back, extend the ottoman, and give you the most relaxing ride you've ever had. And well, when it comes to the ride, you can see it's actually quite good. It's not there with the Lexus LM, because it's not priced like a Lexus LM, but it gets really close, if not gets a little bit better compared to the Alphard. Yes, I know a lot of people are going to hate that I said that in some ways it could be better than an Alphard, but it really is when it comes to the appointments. Because GAC has to conquer like customers, like the mindset to win over market share, they have to put in so much more to impress customers. And in here, we can definitely feel that. Now, there is a lower grade version of this, the M8, I think the GL. This one is the GX, if I'm not mistaken. So that other version is a million less than this. But if you can splurge for this, why not? I mean, it's fantastic. Sunshades here, light there, sunroof there. The lighting here, yeah, it's all really, really nice. The tray tables, like I showed you, fantastic. One of the best I've tried, bar none, even compared to some of the premium brands that we've tried. This is a really good table. The seat here, it does get a little clunky with the adjustment a little bit when you go through that. But once they do some more refining, I'm sure it should be better. But once you get it set to the right mode, you can just lay back, relax, enjoy the drive, enjoy the ride. Now, this really is a nice like seat massage thing. This is the good life. Not that good life. Different. No. As a luxury minivan, the GAC M8 Master really does excel. The styling has all the arrival factor you need, the appointments, the interior design, likewise fantastic in so many regards. The technology, well, except for the lack of Android Auto, is also excellent. The price though, well, this is just under 4 million. Now, originally, that would be a great bargain when you compare it to the Alphard, but the problem is the Alphard's price dropped since EO62 came into effect. So yes, Toyota just announced that, so the Alphard is now like 4.6, 4.7 million, thereabouts. So this one gets a bit closer when it comes to the price. But try getting an Alphard, it's a bit difficult right now. But as a drive, it's actually nice. It's got power. Fuel efficiency, you're not really gonna count fuel efficiency in a vehicle like this anyway. But I think the only main oversight that GAC has with this one is when it comes to the engine, particularly with the torque. Because as we already found out, the torque of this one, while good, could be much better, especially given the target market. Now, what do I mean? A target market for a vehicle like this is someone who's going to definitely look at an armoring option. And when you armor a vehicle, depending on the ballistic level, you're adding a significant amount of weight to be able to give you the peace of mind. Think resistant glass, armor plate, run flat tires. All of those things add weight, especially in a vehicle this big. I wouldn't be surprised if the curb weight of this, which is right now around maybe 2,200 kilos, goes up to around 3,000 without passengers yet if you want to armor it. And I'm not really sure if an engine like this with 400 Newton meters of torque, yes, impressive, but still, you're gonna be asking it to do quite a bit of work for this size of vehicle. Yes, it's kind of strange to mention armoring when it comes to vehicles, but it is a consideration here given the kind of customer a vehicle like this is going to attract. But guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of the new GAC M8. Does it fit your needs? Does it look cool? Is it a viable Alphard alternative? Let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on Facebook, not really Twitter anymore, and Instagram and all that stuff. Anyways, let's go out for, I don't know, massage?